Hi, guys. Welcome to this week's Open Tabs, our weekly dive into the pop culture, digital strategy, and marketing news we can't stop thinking about. So,
It's a slight hybrid newsletter.
yeah, it's basically like what all the open tabs in our brains are that it's easier to just talk about than write about in a newsletter. Um, Okay, so first bit of news that we have on the docket for today. Spotify just announced late last week that they will be reserving a certain amount of tour tickets for artists super fans. Um, so obviously, like for the past 5 or so years, yep, we all have our beverages. Um, for the past 5 years, music fans have been complaining about the rising cost of live concert tickets. It's like ridiculous now. And, obviously, like, I think Ticketmaster is in court right now for basically running a monopoly on ticket sales and hiking up the prices. And I know it's been like very hard for artists to navigate this. I know I want to say, is it Phoebe Jers or somebody like made their tickets only available for purchase like in person. So people
Maggie
have
Rogers.
who repeat that, Megan?
Maggie Rogers.
Maggie Rogers. So like people had to go to the stadium or the ticket booth and like buy their tickets in person. And that's how she got around like the crazy inflated online prices. So in an effort to like solve this problem, Spotify is taking your user data. So, like how many times you stream an artist, how many hours, how often you're sending their music to other people. They noted that like shares is a big factor in like who they decide is a super fan. And they will be reserving tickets for these specific super fans. They haven't gotten into like the specific numbers. Like, is it 20? Is it like 200 tickets? Like, is it like, how are they tracking? Like, do they have our location data? Are they tracking like do they know where you live and like which location on the tour you would go to? But what's interesting is like, and it's also exclusive for premium Spotify users. So if you're using like Spotify's free version, you are not for this. But I think this is a really interesting way for them to like solve a problem for their users and like make this feel like a very personalized experience. Like we're reserving this for you specifically.
Yeah. I love it. And I'm hoping that this is them starting to be the new Ticketmaster. Like, this would be so cool if they could just host all of the ticket selling as well as these other places so that it's like artists could decide, actually, no, I only want my fans coming. So I'm going to make the majority of tickets only available through this like verified way where it's you have to be a fan. Because at the end of the day, these websites like Ticketmaster are exploiting fandom. They're taking advantage of the fact that there are people who will pay exorbitant prices to drive the prices up and make money. So I think this is a way that Spotify is positioning themselves as like a protector of the fan, which I think is really smart.
I mean, of course, I love the idea at first blush. I think the concept makes a ton of sense. I think that, in the same vein with like live event, you know, um, just, the live event business, I think like you could immediately just start thinking of like how people are going to try to game this. And I think that Spotify just has to make sure that they have like protections in place to do that. Like you could just see somebody like setting up their Spotify and just like letting it play nonstop over and over and over again. You know what I mean? And like, how do you?
So I'm like, give them access.
Yeah, but
Like
what if it's just like not like what if it's like a scalper, who wants to like
they can only do it for so many artists because it's like you can't be a super fan of everyone. So it's like there will probably still be a way that you can like scam Taylor Swift and get those tickets like and be a fake super fan. But I think for the most part, like they'll be able to better pull out like you can find outliers in data really easily. Like it'd be so easy to solve for people who are doing that behavior of just like this account only listens to this artist and like in a way that clearly no human is. But I think this is just like another barrier that would actually make it harder for scalpers to pretend to be human because human listening behavior is so like they know what that looks like, you know?
True. I think it's great. They need to do it. B, I think it's like clearly going to have to like, it's just going to be like sort of, banging into walls a little bit to kind of get it to get off the ground. But I want it to work. Like, I love this idea. Like, it's cool. And I think that it's definitely a really neat next level for Spotify, in terms of being both like a space to stream content, music primarily, and video, but also like another use case for that app, which I think is exciting and cool. And like, it makes me even wonder, like, inside of Spotify, like, how long have they been planning this? Like, I think that the way that they evolve is very interesting to me.
Yeah. I know, like, in our conversations with people who work at Spotify, they're like very invested in live events and like connecting people IRL. So I think this is like an interesting extension of that. Like we saw this past year when they did their annual Spotify Wrapped, they did these little in-person, like very intimate concerts for super fans. They had like Zara Larson. I think they did like Tate McRae. So this is like, I bet they like seeded it with that group, and this is them like bringing it to the masses, or at least the masses of their premium Spotify users.
I think that's good. And I think that more brands, especially subscription based brands, need to be thinking about how they can do more of these value adds for their customers that aren't so much like every single person gets this, but because of being one of our customers, you get access to something special. Even like Amex at Coachella, how you get to ride the Ferris wheel for free. Like that's a perk that I like as an Amex member. So I think more and more these brands are going to start thinking more like country clubs or like private clubs of like what perks can we give our members access to that maybe won't cost us more or aren't actually like we're adding more to our terms of service, but we're like adding these value adds that give our brand more value in your eyes.
100. I was also going to add to that too. And what's so genius about this is that they're also problem solving for something that's a pain point for people. Like getting tickets is so challenging. We all know how deeply flawed the Ticketmaster, process is. So like this is a cool like solve for that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing that trips me up a little bit is that it's share specific. Like that is, I feel like that is not a metric of super fandom. That is a metric of super sharing or like it's something else. And it is something that a lot of super fans do. But I do think that is a slightly different thing than just like the top fan. It's like the top advocate, you know?
That is really interesting. I didn't even really think about that.
I didn't either until Emma said.
Feel like, do you guys share?
I mean, I share podcast episodes with people. I'm not
through
really
the app. Like you're sharing it.
and I'll like listen to a really good podcast episode and like I'll include it in like cultural gems, or I'll send it to one of you guys or like my friends or whatever. I'm not really doing that with music. I'm not like sending somebody a song that I'm listening to on Spotify.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
I might share it to my story, but even that is a behavior that I feel like I've stopped doing.
Well, what's interesting? Maybe the idea here is to increase sharing.
I also think they're probably
Like to change behavior.
they probably want to have more of a social element on the app itself, you know? Like
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Like in the spirit of everyone moving toward an everything app, this is a way to sort of supercharge like more of a social media type of behavior within the app.
yeah.
Which is fascinating. I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't think I even like register Spotify in that way. Like I don't really think of it as like, I don't think of and again, it might just be like the phase of life I'm in, right? Like my Spotify is like largely the songs that my kids are requesting from the back seat. So it's so skewed. And then I oftentimes log into Jeff's profile as well, just because he's actually way more into curating his playlists and stuff. And we have like a family playlist that is hilarious. And he's always editing it. Like he likes to edit it. So, but what's actually so frustrating, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but like if you like, okay, so we have 2 cars. The cars have like, Bluetooth and whatnot, and they're connected to our phones to play like the music, right? The kids always prefer to be on Jeff's because he's got like the lineup. I'm always like, I have stuff in the queue, but like half the time I have to like search for something and then save it, whatever. Anyway, the funniest thing though is that we both want to be on his Spotify. And then when both cars are like driving near each other, the like Bluetooth is grabbing it from the other. And so we're totally messing up Jeff's Spotify. Like he's like, I'm just trying to listen to like, why are you doing this? And it's like, it's actually like very flawed. And I feel like this is definitely an experience that like other people are having with this weird like conundrum of technology. But it's just interesting to me now that I say this out loud. Like I don't have like friends on Spotify. Like I don't like I kind of went there a little bit with Peloton. Like when I had my Peloton app, I was like, oh, this would be sort of fun. And then I don't know. And then I was just like, it's like this is more annoying. Like I don't need people to high five me like while I'm like working out, But
Yeah. That's
anyway.
interesting you brought that up, Melissa, because I just remembered that I wanna say it was last year. Let me pull up. Yes, last August, August 25, they released, like, friends and messages. So now you can, like, DM each other on Spotify. So I wonder if, like, that's more of the shares they're talking about. It is, like, pretty
See, that's
vague.
what I was thinking. I thought it was like sharing it between
Yeah.
profiles.
That's like it's interesting because I know people are like, it's like, are you an Apple Music person or are you a Spotify person? I've always very much been a Spotify person. And I spend a lot of time in Spotify. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to music every single day. I've never messaged anyone. I have friends on
Yeah.
Spotify.
Yeah.
I'm never messaging them on the platform. If anything, I'll like share something like in Spotify to them via text message. Like
I mean, I think that this
it's
is them
never
trying to change
yeah.
user behavior. Like it's a cool concept, makes sense. People are already incentivized. It's like again, I feel like half the time marketers, and I don't know if people are doing this like at these big social media platforms, but it's like I feel like they should just be bringing in like psychologists. And it's like, how do we think of like the psychology of this and like the emotion behind it? And like, how do you compel
Mhm.
people to do one thing to the next?
The problem is psychologists would tell them about the problems with their platform as well, and they don't want to have record of knowing those. So they can't bring in the experts because the experts will be like,
Everyone,
actually, you're also evil, and then that will come up later. It's hilarious.
true, true, and true. Also, like on the Apple side of things, like what are those guys doing? Like, I feel like they're just sitting around when I'm like, everyone is like talks about being in chat and like how, it's like the group chat. And like Apple has such a run on that right now. And it's like they're like being lazy and not innovating and doing anything exciting. And like it's like if you have Apple Podcasts, like look at what Spotify is doing. How do you kind of connect all of that behavior? Like I don't even think of like my texting at all when I think of like my Apple Podcast. But even as Emma was just saying, I'm like, that's like obvious.
See, I feel like they are doing a lot. They're just not making a big deal out of it, which is always my thing with tech companies is that even this Spotify thing, it's kind of like there's not a lot of new product updates happening here because they always had all of these products.
Mhm.
This is a marketing spin and like a program spun up by marketing. And so I think a lot of tech marketing is determined by what products they have available to market to them. So it's kind of like backwards, and it's like whatever the company wants to make.
I also wonder if like Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, like they don't have to work for it so hard since they're almost everyone has an iPhone and they're just built in. to people's phones automatically.
I've been getting a lot of content suggesting I should get the Chinese phone. That's basically the iPhone dupe. Have you guys seen this?
I've
No.
seen
I don't remember what it's called, but it looks exactly like the new iPhone, but everyone's like, but it's so much better. And I'm like, you're kind of convincing me. So we might have like a new competitor to Apple on our hands, like pretty seriously.
Oh, that's exciting. I feel like the videos I've seen make it look cool. Like the only real competitor that Apple has had for the iPhone is Android, which I feel like is kind of like you have an Android. Like there's a little bit of like lame attached
Yeah.
to that. But I do have friends that are like hardcore Android users.
You know what I would say if like I were trying to be a legit competitor to Apple is I think with the use of AI somehow making it incredibly easy and straightforward for people to move their archives of stuff. Cause like I think that that's what keeps everyone around. It's like you are so deeply embedded into your iCloud photos that you've had, right? And like you're paying for the cloud and like you're keeping all those photos. You've got like your Gmail and like all your Gmail history. I think you've got like, you just have these like deep roots of stuff. It's the same way, like, again, it's like the Facebook with the birthdays, also it's like what keeps you on Facebook. It's the birthdays. It's the same for me. Another example is Minted, like the card company. Like it's so expensive. I like literally did it once when I was engaged. Like I was like, I'm engaged. I want it. Like this is going to be our engagement Christmas card, our first card together as a couple. And I have not been able to extract myself because they have all of the addresses on there. Like it's already in there. And so like that's my virtual address book. Like I literally go to mint it. And so I just think it's like, honestly, I actually feel like a really cool company would be like Archive or something. And it's like a whole new way to sort of centralize your stuff, like your photos and everything. And it's not tied to like a social platform or like a tech company or whatever. It's like its own thing that's like protected. Like I would love to like, oh my God, if somebody was like, you can migrate your at like from all these different places, centralize your stuff, like that would just be awesome. And then it would make it easier to sign up for a new phone or to sign up for other things. Like Apple has it so simple, like literally going to get a new phone. You remember how much of a nightmare it used to be? You used to have like reload in your contacts. And I mean, the idea of like trying to do that now feels like we all have too much stuff now. We have too much baggage,
I remember when like I was in early high school, sometimes like it wouldn't work transferring all your contacts and having to like
Oh,
post
it
to
would
Facebook
crash.
and be like, got a new phone. Everyone DM me your number.
No one has like new numbers now, and unless something really kind of sketchy has happened, you're like, oh, you have a new number, or you in witness protection.
I know. It's so funny.
And actually, somebody, as I say this, like somebody just did this to me the other day, and I'm like,
I know. It's so funny. Or I would like change my number and I would post my new one to Facebook because it felt like such a little like insulated like little world, digital world that I had. And I would just be like, got a new number, text me. um, but it'll be interesting to see how this plays out once they finally start selecting their super fans. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, next topic. We don't have to deep this too much because we have an exciting last topic. But this New York Times article came out recently about the rise of whimsy, and they specifically call it a rising trend for Zillennials. So if you don't know, Zillennials, Zillennials, is like the cuspers between millennial and Gen Z. I myself, being born in 97, I align as a Zillennial. I'm technically Gen Z, but I'm like the oldest. The oldest Gen Z. And I wanted to call this out because, Megan, you just wrote a great piece about the rise of like beverage trends for us last week. And you specifically called out whimsy as you think a driver for why everyone is so obsessed with matcha right now.
Yes.
And that like young audiences, it's a very stressful world. They're looking for like these little pockets where they can find joy in their day to day.
Yeah. And specifically right now, the trend with matcha and whimsy is to add sprinkles to the top of your matcha to add a little like pop of color. My take on this is that it's it's kind of every year we see a trend around the springtime that is leaning into the same theme. A few years ago, it was romanticize your life. This year,
Mhm.
it's whimsy. And so I think that there is not a whole lot new here besides the term and kind of the shape that it's exactly taking. And like that's what's new here. But we do this every spring where we lean into like fun, joy, romanticization, get out there and like smile and have fun. But I also have been tracking this as kind of like an eye roll at Gen Z and Zillennials. Sorry, Emma, because they've been so hard on millennial cringe and all of that. And then they're circling right back around
Yeah.
to be almost even cringier and more childish. And that's all fine. But I'm like, you guys have no consistency in your messaging because before it was like, this is cringe. We don't want to be cringe. And like, I definitely think you should embrace whimsy and be whimsical. But there's a trend right now, the computer trend. Have you seen like computer? And they talk in like a silly little voice.
Yeah.
This is happening, which I love. Great. Embrace your whimsy. But I'm like, you guys made fun of people for YouTube accents like 6 months ago. And now you're talking in this weird voice. Like, same thing. So I'm like, what goes around comes around. Embrace the whimsy, but also I'm clocking the hypocrisy at the same time.
It's real. Are sprinkles like having a moment right now? Have you guys seen dot cakes
I have. We're
everywhere?
going to talk about them in culture briefing tomorrow if you come. But basically, I'm like, is this a psyop? Like, I feel like they came out of nowhere. And like
No,
how we just talked about clipping, I was like, I feel like they bought this relevance.
I think they did too. Melissa, if you don't know
I'm looking right now.
anyone,
Oh, I've seen these. Yeah.
yeah, it's really just, I think it's like a bakery in New York City that makes them or something, but it's like single serve. I think it's like funfetti style cake. And it's just like in what looks like a froyo container. And the top is packed with rainbow sprinkles. And it had started on like Friday for me, where like almost every other video was somebody doing a dot cake tasting. And I was like, what is that?
Interesting.
And then it evolved to people then making their own dot cakes. And people in the comments are like, what is this?
I mean, I'm definitely seeing the dot cakes for sure. I think so many things that you were saying, both of you guys, that I'm like, oh my God, I like want to, I'm gonna like, don't interrupt. I was just gonna say, like, one, agree with you, especially with like the matcha. It's not just matcha. As like somebody who drinks matcha, who has,
Mm,
I've had matcha now for like a decade. Like usually it's like my afternoon beverage of choice. I just feel like it's lighter on my stomach than coffee in the like afternoon.
yeah.
Um, the more recent evolution of maybe the past like year and a half, 2 years of like flavored matcha, where it's like suddenly it's like the green, but then you have, excuse me, like the pink in there, and it's like
Mhm.
strawberry matcha or it's like raspberry. That is so millennial. Like the millennial pink of it, the pose of it, like that is millennial. Millennials have entered the chat with that like pink in the matcha. I also think like another element to this that I think is sort of interesting when you speak about whimsy too is just like the impact of like Asian culture on like Western culture as well. Like I just spent time in Japantown on Saturday. We go like once a month. It's like it's like a go-to thing we do where we live because it's if it's like rainy or anything, it's very cool in San Francisco. It's like these indoor malls. And it's just like you want to talk about whimsy, like the Japanese like have made everything whimsical. It's like every item has like a smiley face. Everything is like little moments of happiness and joy and like
It's called something.
is it?
It's called Tsutsumi, I believe.
Okay.
Tsutsmi. And it's like the idea that like you can package things in a way that brings you joy, and like packaging is very important.
Packaging is very important. And it's like
Mhm.
we always joke, I have a 6-year-old daughter, Lucy, and she like loves Japantown. Like it's just like joy, 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 like everywhere. Like she's just like, we go to, and I finally have like figured out my hack when I go. It's like, because all she wants is to buy something, buy something. And I'm like, we go to Daiso, which is like the
I know.
Japanese, it's almost like a
Yeah.
CVS, not CVS, but it's like whatever. And so everything is very inexpensive. It's like a Dollar Tree kind of. And so I'm like, okay, you can get like hair clips here. And she picked out hair clips that are like little ears. So she's wearing ears, and then she gets gummy bear, ones. And like, it's like this whole thing. And then even when it's almost like not in shitification, but it's like this constant, like, so there's this thing. And then how do you keep doing this to this thing more and more and more? So like we went to go get the fish ice cream cone, like with the, like the matcha ice cream or like whatever. And Lucy got ube. It's purple.
Mhm.
And now they have not just like the regular fish cone, which is like what it tastes like, a regular ice cream cone or like a waffle. Now it's pink, and it's what is the oh my gosh. It's like gooey pink. Like, I can't think of it. Red, it's like red bean gooey, like, mochi. It's mochi. So it's like a mochi
Mhm.
pink cone with purple ube and like, sprinkles on top. And so it's just, I don't know, like that idea. What is it, Megan? What did you say? Tetsumi?
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, I wonder if, and I mean, I also think that there's just like these moments, like, again, whimsy, but like also like escapism too, with like romantasy novels. And then I don't know, even with like film, like we talked about, like it's been a minute since the with Wizard of Oz, the Glenda and like, whatnot. It's like
Mhm.
whimsy. I don't know. I just said a lot.
I think we're no, they're like it sounds like the ice cream place that you guys take Lucy to is like whimsy maxing. I feel like we're like in a very like all or
Whimsy
nothing. We're in a very like all or nothing kind of culture. Like people are doing things and they're doing it really hard. I feel like, and everything is being maxed.
Everything is being maxed.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
I also, whenever there's a word like this where it's like trending, I like to look up like the root of it. And so like this is whim. And the whim is a sudden impulsive desire or change of mind. And so I think that's also really like interesting of like this idea, because it kind of reminds me of what people are used to say, which is like never let them know your next move. Like
Mhm.
kind of just this idea of that you are not a known entity, that you can change, you can be something different. You're not pinned down, I think is also part of whimsy that people are really drawn to. So it's not even just like escapism of the moment, it's like escapism of identity.
I love that.
That's really interesting, especially like in an age where like people have been blasting themselves online. It's almost like, wait, I this is their way of like course correcting that. That's really
I
Permission
feel like I crave
change on
that
a
as a
dime.
person. Like, just escape it. Like again, I like, I'm in the last book of the Throne of Glass series, which is, again, if anyone knows it, it's like 8 books, and like this last book is 900 pages. Like this is a commitment.
That is a commitment.
It's a big series to get through, and like, yeah, I don't know. Again, season of my life, it's like I just want to escape, or like
Yeah.
even like permission to feel like, I think it's like overstimulation too. Is like, so I just feel like the word that comes to me a lot. Like I just want to like get away from the, you know.
Yeah, it's also like the opposite of bed rotting, but solving for the same thing. Like what you're saying is like everything's too much, I just want to go away. Whereas like bed rotting is like going inside and shutting the world out. Whimsy is like ditching everything and going and embracing the real world, which I think is a very interesting pendulum swing.
And
very on the book note, two quick things. Midnight Train is out today. I've got my copies pre-ordered, so it's on its way. So I'm going to read that and tell you guys. And then also, I read this book, Permanence, that I think you'd really like, Melissa. So you should check it out.
What is it about? What's the TLDR?
It is about, it's kind of Midnight Train Library-y. That's why I thought you might like it. But it's essentially about this couple who's in an affair. And they go to this like land where it's like this like third dimension where it's like just them. And like it's like an allegory for their relationship. And then they like go back to the real world and live their separate lives. And then sometimes they get blasted back to this world. And it's very cerebral in the same way that Midnight Library was. I'm going to write about it for Cool Shiny. So you can.
I love that.
There.
Permanence?
Yes. Permanence. And it's quick. It was like 230 pages.
I love that. I'm just a big book consumer these days. So
yeah.
200 feels like a weekend read.
I'm reading Margot's Got Money Troubles right now for my club. So
have you seen the show?
No. So I have my book club on Sunday, but I did already like re-up my Apple TV subscription because I know I'm going to want to watch.
She does like OnlyFans, right?
OnlyFans. This is like very much not, it is feel good. It's like very cute. It has a total sense of humor. But before this, I was reading Circe, which is like total escapism, like Greek mythology. I'm by myself on an island with like my pet tiger, like so escapism. And then this was like, oof, like real world. It's like, I want to go back. But it is good. It is feel good. I recommend it if you're looking for like something light. Okay. Last topic of the day. We're going to talk about it live right now here on Substack, but this will be exclusive for our paid Substack subscribers. So if you want to stick around, maybe upgrade.